Stop me if this sounds familiar. Work hard. Save money. Follow the plan. Retire rich. Except nobody retires rich. Your grandfather didn't. Your parents won't. And you? The data says you're headed for the same ending. But why? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Wealth doesn't vanish. It moves. Every decade, millions of families watch their savings evaporate. They call it bad luck. They call it poor timing. They call it everything except what it actually is. A transfer. From your pocket to someone else's vault. 3 generations. 3 completely different strategies. 3 identical outcomes. The 1960s generation saved every penny. The 1990s generation bought homes. Today's generation invests in markets. All 3 followed expert advice. All 3 did exactly what they were supposed to. And all 3 ended up in the exact same place, working until they couldn't anymore. Something else is happening here. Let's go back. 1960s America, Britain, Italy. The message was simple. Your bank account is your future. Deposit your paycheck. Watch the balance grow. Trust the system. It made perfect sense. Banks were stable. Governments backed them. Interest rates were real. Then the 1970s broke everything. Not gradually. Suddenly. British savers watched their pounds cut in half within a decade. Italian lira holders saw their wealth dissolve year after year. American families discovered their retirement nest eggs couldn't buy what they used to. But here's what nobody talks about. The wealth didn't burn up. It didn't disappear into thin air. It transferred to those holding hard assets. Land. Commodities. Businesses. While Grandma's savings account melted like ice in summer, someone else bought property at bargain prices. First transfer complete. Fast forward to the 1980s. New generation. New strategy. Forget saving, the experts said. Real estate is the answer. Property values only go one direction. Up. Spain watched prices triple in a decade. Ireland built ghost towns on speculation. British families mortgaged their futures on brick and concrete. The logic seemed bulletproof. Everyone needs a place to live. They're not making more land. Buy now or regret it forever. Millions took the bait. Then 2008 arrived. Spanish homeowners owed double what their houses were worth. Irish neighborhoods stood frozen, half-finished. British buyers spent 15 years underwater. But again, look closer. The wealth didn't evaporate. While families drowned in mortgage debt, investment firms bought thousands of foreclosed homes for pennies. Those same homes? Now rented back to the people who lost them. Second transfer complete. Now we're in your era. The advice changed again. Don't save. Don't just buy a house. Invest. Make your money work. Stock markets. Crypto. NFTs. Meme coins. Everyone's a genius in a bull market. Social media feeds fill with overnight millionaires. 20-year-olds buying Lamborghinis. Influencers screaming about the next Bitcoin. So regular people pile in. Convinced they're early. Convinced they'll be different. Convinced this time it's real. 2022 hits differently. Crypto markets lose $2 trillion. Stock portfolios cut in half. Dutch pension funds, supposedly the safest in the world, quietly reduce payments. Young investors watch their accounts drain overnight. But look around. Who bought the dip? Who had cash ready when everything crashed? Not the people who followed the advice. Third transfer in progress. See the pattern now? It's not 3 different disasters. It's one machine with 3 different masks. The machine runs on 3 gears. Gear 1. Silent erosion. Your salary stays flat. Food costs more. Rent climbs. Gas increases. You're not getting poorer because you're failing. You're getting poorer because the gap is programmed to widen. Gear 2. The surge and collapse. Something gets hyped. Prices explode. Media screams about it. Regular people rush in at the peak. Then gravity returns. Gear 3. The lock. Debt isn't just borrowing. It's a cage. 30-year mortgages. 20-year student loans. Revolving credit card balances. You can't pivot. You can't adapt. You're stuck. These three gears work together. They extract wealth from the bottom. They concentrate it at the top. They reset and repeat. This isn't new. Ancient Rome. Emperors watered down silver coins year after year. Citizens kept using them. Wealthy Romans held land and grain stores. One group lost purchasing power. The other group controlled resources. Weimar Germany. Hyperinflation destroyed cash overnight. Savings accounts became worthless. But factory owners? Farmland holders? They walked out wealthy. Greece, 2010s. Retirees saw their pensions slashed. Meanwhile, German and French banks got repaid in full. Same engine. Different decade. The script reads, erode. Hype. Crash. Extract. But wait. If millions keep losing, who's winning? 1849, California. Thousands of miners chased gold. Most went broke. But Levi Strauss sold them pants. Samuel Brannan sold them shovels. They weren't digging. They were selling to the diggers. Every real estate crash. Regular families lose homes. Hedge funds buy thousands of properties at discounts. Every inflation cycle, cash holders get destroyed. Asset owners hold steady. The 1930s depression. Stock investors lost everything. But the companies that provided electricity, that grew food, that moved goods, they survived and expanded. Because demand for essentials doesn't collapse. The difference isn't luck. It's understanding which side of the transaction you're on. So what actually holds value when everything else burns? Not your savings account that loses 8% per year to inflation. Not the house you live in that costs you $3,000 monthly. Not the retirement fund tied to speculation you don't control. Real wealth lives in three places. 1. Skills that solve problems. If you can fix what people need fixed, you hold value in any economy. 2. Businesses that provide necessities. Not trends. Not luxuries. Essentials. Water. Food. Shelter. Energy. Transportation. These don't disappear during crashes. 3. Assets that generate cash flow. Not paper value. Not future promises. Actual money. Monthly. Regardless of market conditions. This doesn't get you famous. This doesn't trend on social media. This doesn't make you feel like a genius at parties. But 30 years later, you're the one still standing. 3 generations played by the rules. Grandparents saved in banks. Lost to inflation. Parents bought houses. Lost to debt. Your generation invests in markets. Currently losing to volatility. Different advice. Same outcome. But here's what changes everything. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. It's just not designed for you to win. Once you see that, truly see it, the game changes. You stop chasing safety in systems built to extract from you. You stop waiting for permission. You stop playing by rules written by people who benefit from your losses. Because the machine will keep running. It will offer new promises to the next generation. New experts. New strategies. New guarantees. And the outcome will stay identical. Unless you choose differently. The pattern repeats because it works. Each generation believes their situation is unique, that their advice is different, that their outcome will be better. But the financial mechanics don't change. They just change the packaging. The question isn't if you'll hear the next version. The question is whether you'll recognize it for what it is. Because no system can defeat someone who understands how it works. Once you see the gears turning, you stop stepping into the traps set for you. You stop mistaking hype for opportunity. You stop confusing motion with progress. You start building value no cycle can erase. You start keeping what previous generations were tricked into losing. And that's when the machine meets the one thing it was never designed to handle, an informed player.